Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS2 News at 5 p.m.
Now at 5, caught on camera, a suspected predator running away from a teen's bedroom after detectives say he broke in and exposed himself to her. Santa Ana police today revealed disturbing details about that Tuesday morning crime.
They also have a sketch that they would like to get out to the public.
CBS2 Orange County reporter Michelle Gili is live in Santa Ana with the manhunt for that suspect. Michelle.
Well, he shuts the door. So now, these are predators. So now he has his prey's secure in a room with him.
A Santa Ana teenager helped a police artist complete this sketch late today of the man she says was standing over her bed Tuesday morning, exposing himself. This is video from a neighbor's security camera of the suspect in a red hat hopping a back fence at a condominium on West Edinger Avenue. From there, detectives say he went through an unlocked sliding door and up to the 15-year-old's bedroom. He spoke to her in Spanish.
She's asleep. She's awoken by what she thinks is her father. It's not. It's a 20-year-old male, red hat, red shirt, blue or black jeans. He gives her the sign. He then undoes his pants, exposes himself.
There is also video of the prowler trying to open cars to see if they were unlocked. Later, he's seen running and pulling up his pants as he escaped from the neighborhood. It was the girl's screams, according to police, that scared the 20-something suspect off before he could hurt her.
Let's go to some breaking news right now. L.A. County DA's office is now reviewing a sex crime allegation against actor Sylvester Stallone. The DA's office says the Santa Monica Police Department presented that case today. Last November, an alleged victim told detectives of an incident involving the now 71-year-old back in the 1990s. At the time, Stallone's attorney said he denies this claim.
A judge has granted a restraining order against a man who has been acting as Marvel Comics Stan Lee's business manager and personal advisor. The LAPD has been investigating claims of elder abuse against Lee. The restraining order accuses the former advisor, Kia Morgan, of taking advantage of Lee's impaired hearing, vision, and judgment, and also moving Lee from his family home to cut him off from family and associates. Morgan was arrested on Monday for allegedly filing a false police report. He claimed burglars were in his house when police were conducting a welfare check on Lee.
Today, a Santa Ana jury has recommended death for the former Marine convicted of killing 5 women. 53-year-old Andrew Urdiales was convicted last month of the crime spree in Orange, San Diego, and Riverside counties. He's already serving a life sentence in Illinois for killing 3 women in Chicago. Many of those victims' family members attended that penalty phase. The one woman who was able to get away from the serial killer said that she's glad justice has finally been served.
It was a huge relief, and I just felt like all the jurors were angels.
To me, he's like a mad dog that just needs to be put down. I don't have any feeling towards him as a human.
His formal sentencing is set for August 31st.
A special bird's eye view and infrared night vision. The LAFD uses the latest technology to make sure homes are safe in the Benedict Canyon fire. Now, things are looking up in Benedict Canyon today. Firefighters have a handle on that raging brush fire that threatened multi-million-dollar homes. And CBS2's Amy Johnson is live with a look at just how things are going now and the LAFD's new tool. Amy.
Well, Pat, the smoke has really cleared here. This fire is now 60% contained, and all of the evacuation orders have been lifted. Now, this road you can see behind me partially open. So are all of the other roads in the area, and the streets closest to the fire are open to residents only. And the fire department says they've really been able to keep a close eye on this fire thanks to their new tool, that drone that has thermal imaging.
You're looking at hot spots that aren't visible to the naked eye.
This is video of the Portola fire burning in Benedict Canyon from the Los Angeles Fire Department's newest tool, a UAS, unmanned aerial system, or drone.
It's definitely a much more effective and efficient way to monitor a fire's progress, especially overnight.
The fire broke out around 2 Tuesday afternoon, sparked by a man cutting brush in the area. It's burned between 35 and 40 acres. Fortunately, no structures were burned.
These guys did a phenomenal job. I mean, these guys are really brave, worked it all night.
Firefighters say the drone helped. This is only the second fire the LAFD has used the drone. The Skirball fire was the first.
The ability to live stream to the incident commander, to give him view of what the topography and what the fire behavior is, that gives him immediate situational awareness to be safe with his members while they're performing the task of firefighting. You can't get better than that.
Dave Danielson flew the drone last night and gave us a demonstration. He says the drone allows the water-dropping helicopters and their crews to rest.
You can't take away the value of having a manned aircraft that's performing a physical action like dropping water or doing a search and rescue.
But he says it's saving money and cutting down on the risk of flying over fires.
We've mitigated the risks of flying now, so there's a value there. And then there's frankly the cost factor of it. If we don't need to fly the helicopter, we just saved Los Angeles a lot of money regarding the use and the maintenance of that helicopter, thereby allowing it to be used for a more important mission at a later time.
Now, the fire department can't give an exact number for the savings, but they did tell us that flying their smaller helicopter costs $4,400 an hour. Their larger helicopter, $4,900 an hour. You know, you've got to factor in the fuel, staffing, and that expensive maintenance. The drone, on the other hand, cost about $10,000 to $12,000 with that camera, and it operates on a rechargeable battery. So a much different price in that. I'll send it back to you two in the studio.
All right, really great to see the technology being used.
Saving lives and saving money.
And all those firefighters out there dealing with the hot weather, too. It's been really hot.
Oh, today too,
yeah.
That's for sure. Increased fire danger, and CBS2 meteorologist Amber Lee is here with a first look at that hot forecast. Amber.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Jeff. Yes, so we are still looking at this high pressure system with us. So it was definitely another hot day, especially inland, but it was our coastal communities that actually got to get a little bit of that relief because that sea breeze has returned, and we also saw that marine influence earlier. So today we topped out once again above average for downtown LA, coming in at 80 degrees. Normally we should be at 77. Didn't quite break any records because you can see the record set pretty high back in 1896. Sun going down tonight at 8:05. This is what it still feels like outside. So you can see inland locations, temperatures still in the upper 90s for San Bernardino, 92 for Riverside, 88 for Burbank, and 93 for Lancaster. But slowly but surely we are looking at a cooling trend on the way. I'll let you know how cool it's going to get. Back to you.
All right, see you in a bit, Amber. Well, developing news now. The Washington State Patrol right now is searching for an active shooter. Someone is firing at cars on State Route 509 near SeaTac Airport in Seattle. Gunfire struck at least 4 cars and no one was hurt. Investigators have now closed both directions of SR 509 in the area. They're urging drivers to stay away and report any suspicious activity.
And now to politics. President Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, is now looking for new lawyers.
Apparently, Jeff, that's because his lawyer since 2017 is stepping aside as the FBI investigation into his business dealings intensify.
CBS2 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us now with details on this so-called change-up, I guess, right?
Well, we'll see. You know, the big question tonight is, will Michael Cohen use this to flip, right, and cooperate with the special counsel? We don't have the answer yet, but it may be coming soon. Michael Cohen served as Mr. Trump's fixer before Trump became the president. Cohen reportedly knows Trump's entire history of wheeling and dealing up to the 2016 election. Charges against Cohen could include bank and wire fraud and possibly campaign finance violations. Michael Cohen is on the hunt for new legal representation, sources tell CBS News. Cohen was President Trump's personal lawyer, and now he's under intense pressure from prosecutors who are investigating alleged fraud in his business dealings. Cohen has to decide whether to cooperate with the investigation or fight it in court. His attorney is stepping aside as Cohen looks for lawyers in New York. That's where FBI agents raided his office, home, and safety deposit box. That was back in April. Part of what they're examining is a secret payment Cohen made to adult film star Stormy Daniels for $130,000. Daniels claims she had an affair with President Trump in 2006. The president has called the investigation disgraceful and an assault on attorney-client privilege. Cohen has said he's innocent. Cohen's legal team, along with President Trump's lawyers, went to court to claim some of the 3.7 million documents and electronic files seized in the raids are protected by attorney-client privilege. They've been working for weeks to identify which ones should be withheld from prosecutors amid a looming deadline this Friday. Now, there are no indications at this point that Cohen has discussed a plea deal with prosecutors, but today there were multiple reports that Cohen is considering cutting such a deal with prosecutors rather than fighting the expected charges. Investigators are still combing through Cohen's seized records, millions of pages, as they try to build a case. Pat, back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Dave. Now, President Trump has tweeted, Americans can sleep better now that he's convinced North Korea to get rid of its nuclear weapons. But questions remain about how and when that will happen. The president arrived home this morning following his whirlwind summit in Singapore. He and Kim Jong-un signed an agreement to denuclearize the Korean peninsula. However, it had no mention of a verification timeline. And today, Vice President Mike Pence says the U.S. has every intention to verify as negotiations go forward.
As the president said, our sanctions will remain in place until North Korea's nuclear weapons are no longer a factor.
Chairman Kim did not even mention his ambiguous comment to denuclearize when he returned home to North Korea.
North Korea's state television is focusing on President Trump's decision to end joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will meet with the leaders of South Korea and China on Thursday to discuss that decision.
FBI agent whose gun went off in a Denver bar while he was dancing appeared in court today. There's Agent Chase Bishop. He was a lot more reserved today as he stood before a judge. He's been charged with second-degree assault. Cell phone video shows Bishop showing off his dance moves earlier this month at a club. He lost his gun when he did a backflip during the dance. When he picks it up, well, the gun fires. A bullet then hits a man in the leg. The judge ruled that Agent Bishop can go ahead and travel back to Washington, D.C., where he works.
The battle for one of Hollywood's legacy studios is heating up. Comcast is making a $65 billion bid for Fox's entertainment business, setting up a bidding war with Disney to become the next mega media company. Today, Comcast said it's offering $35 a share, all cash. The offer 19% higher than Disney's all-stock deal. In addition to its cable holdings, Comcast owns NBC, Universal Pictures, and the Universal Studio theme parks.
Kim Kardashian West met with a woman that she helped free from prison. Cameras captured that reality star as she left that meeting with Alice Johnson at a home in South Haven, Mississippi. You'll see Johnson is the woman wearing black.
Now, she had served 21 years behind bars on a first-time non-violent drug charge. President Trump commuted her life sentence after Kardashian West lobbied for her release at the White House.
Well, your medication could be making you depressed.
We will tell you which common drugs may be the reason you're feeling blue.
And a surprise visit for a young boy who was hit by a drunk driver on Cinco de Mayo.
Plus, dog dangers at the beach. What you need to know before you take your pet out for a day of surf and turf fun.
And the World Cup is coming to North America in 2026. What that means for Southern California.